watching that game, and I felt this way for a while, but it really stood out watching that game. No team can win the way the Ravens win. And I think there's two aspects to this. As we look ahead to can they finally get over the hump with Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh and win the Super Bowl? Number one, they're the most balanced team in the NFL. I mean, you see the way they win these games. They can win with their run game. They can win with Lamar in structure. Like early in that game, I'm going, ooh, passing game's a little bit off. And then they kind of get going. They're winning in structure. Then all of a sudden, you're seeing Lamar out of structure, scrambling for 31, finding Gus Edwards on the dump off for another explosive play. They can win in either of those ways with the passing game. We know they can win with the defense. Holy cow, what a defensive performance from that Ravens team against the Niners. We know they can win with special teams. And so you add all these things up, and they are just such a hard team to put away. Like, unless just it is their worst day at the office where nothing is working, where they're not getting any bounces, they're going to be in every game. And we've seen that this entire season. No team has beaten the Ravens by more than 7 points this season. Okay, they have 3 losses, all by a total of 12 points. So that's the one aspect of this. And the second aspect of this I thought was interesting with, the Ravens players kind of puffing their chests out after the game. Patrick Queen saying, Ben, I know you're going to like this. You're an old school football guy. You're going to like this. We play a brand of football that people don't want to play. And it was so interesting coming from Patrick Queen, because this was not Patrick Queen's reputation earlier in his days as a Ravens player. It was like, does this guy actually fit what the Ravens generally are? Now he's coming, since they got Roquan Smith, he's been a different player. I generally scoff at the, go out and hit him in the mouth. I generally am like, all right, settle down. Offenses are too good. I believe in speed. That's not going to work. But then you watch that game and you see Kyle Hamilton and you see Marlon Humphrey and you see Roquan Smith and you see Jadeveon Clowney and you see like every single player on that Ravens defense. And it's like, okay, I think actually there is some truth to that. I think the two defenses right now that can actually say they play that way, that we play a brand of football nobody wants to play, that we bring the fights to our opponents in a meaningful way when everyone's saying, too high, don't give up explosive. No. We're old school. We're bringing the fight to the opponent. I think it's the Ravens and the Browns. And I think you saw
the Ravens do play a lot of too
Monday
high,
night game.
But
so
yes, I agree.
Listen, they're not just sitting back there saying matriculate the ball down the field. No. Right. It's more than just too high. So this really feels like the Ravens' time. I mean, they still have to take care of business against the Dolphins. They could still be in play for the 1 seed, even if they lose that game. They have to take advantage right now, Ben, because they've got Mike Macdonald, who I don't think Mike Macdonald's going to be there next year. Nope. I mean, talk about stock soaring here this season. I think he's going to get a head coaching opportunity. You have a healthy Lamar Jackson. Let's keep it that way going into the playoffs. You have a wide open AFC. I was there 2019. I covered that Ravens-Titans game in Baltimore, 14-2. That team felt pretty invincible, kind of like this one did. And all of a sudden, snap of your fingers, they're out of the playoffs. They have not gotten past the divisional round. Dean Pease. They've got the look right now. Mike Macdonald, you see him flexing on the sideline at the end of that game. Lamar Jackson calling Mike Florio Mike Flores. I think that also was funny to me. The number of guys contributing on both sides of the ball, they have the look to me. They can win in ways no other team can win. I don't know that any fan base can feel better about their team than the Ravens fan base going into the final 2 weeks of the season.
Pending Kyle Hamilton health, I agree. Right? I think
correct.
My
which we don't know
Ravens
as we
fans
record this.
That
we
game,
don't know details.
Yeah, my Ravens fan, and which Harbaugh said, like, it looks like it's good. It looks like we're not like he's not shelved for the year. But talking with my Ravens buddies after the game, it was like, we're great, we're immortal, we're invincible, we're the best. This is so awesome. If Kyle Hamilton can't play, I'm never going to watch a Ravens game again, because it was such a good game for him specifically. Like, he's had such a great season. He would have been on my All-Pro ballot at safety before this game. This game was the cementing. It was emphatic. It was the blitzing and the Christian McCaffrey coverage and the Deebo Samuel tackling and then the interception. Just everything you could possibly ask a safety to do, this cat is capable of doing. And then he goes down with that knee, and you're like, this is so unjust. And so, altogether, I do agree with you with that Ravens team. Andrew Filipponi, I thought had a good tweet. He's of 937 The Fan. He's a Pittsburgh guy. The Ravens have led at the 2-minute warning in all 16 games this year. Only 2 other teams have accomplished this. Ooh. The 2007 Patriots, good team. The 2007 Patriots. The 1972 Dolphins. Good team. The 1972 Dolphins were, right? It is a reminder that the Baltimore Ravens, like you said, oh, they've only lost 3 games. Right. They lost like the dumbest Steelers game imaginable. They lost to the Colts because Justin Tucker missed multiple
dumbest
field
Colts
goals.
Game imaginable.
Exactly. It was like legit, like shooting star meteoric eclipse event when Justin Tucker's missing field goals. It's like a rainy day. Like the games they've lost, and this goes back to last year, they've lost for dumb reasons late in games, which absolutely, when I'm watching that Ravens team take a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter last night, and Sam Darnold cuts it to 14, and Sam Darnold's driving to cut it to 7, am I thinking to myself, there's no way? Yes, 100% I'm doing that. But altogether, this team, for the brunt of games, for the majority of games, controls, dictates, and dominates. I made my little cheeky, they play too high comment, but you're exactly correct, Sheil. We like to bucket too high. I say, one high, aggressive, get numbers in the box, stop the run. Too high, passive, stop the pass. There's a variety of ways to play 2 deep coverage. You play cover 2, Matt Eberflus, sit back there, deep zones, John Gannon, deep zones, give up the underneath stuff. And then there's the Baltimore Ravens version, which is we play too high to be versatile. We play too high to match coverage. We play too high to suffocate you, to take you away, to eat up space. Like we think our back 7 is going to be better than your 5. It was unbelievable. I watched the film this morning. First thing I had Ravens defense, Niners offense. I hadn't had coffee yet. The way this team plays, just zone coverage. Just how everybody passes things off at the right time to players where they're expected. They don't get stretched. They don't get stressed. They don't blow assignments. And when they do blow assignments, they give up a 20-yard gain to George Kittle. And they don't let it spiral. They say, get back out there. We're going to run quarters. We're going to be right this time. It is very, if every defensive coordinator had their druthers, they would run the defense that the Ravens are running because they're just running zone. They're just running zone. They're just dropping into coverage and taking away routes. But you don't have 7 guys be this correct and this coordinated, this choreography, snap after snap, the way the Ravens have achieved this year. It is an unbelievable job of coaching. And to Patrick Queen's comment, they don't want to play us. Brock Purdy was like the first quarter and a half of Brock Purdy, he was playing well. Like he was playing good football. He had interceptions. Like the Kyle Hamilton pick, the first one was a bad throw, was a bad decision. But overall, he was playing good ball. He got hassled, dude. He got rattled. He got hit in the mouth a couple of times. They got free rushers on him, lighting his Christmas tree, and eventually he just didn't want to play ball anymore. That's what happens when you dictate like this. Like they absolutely rattled a guy who isn't used to being rattled. That's the sort of people who don't want to play us. We hit you, right? We hit you in the mouth. We make this unpleasant. That is a great defensive identity. I think right now, if you gave me a control over a team, independent of what that team is, of who that team is, quarterback situation and cap space, whatever, and you said, Ben, you can hire Ben Johnson, Lions offensive coordinator, or Mike McDonald, Ravens defense coordinator as your head coach, I think I'd take Mike. I think Mike does the rarer thing. I think Ben Johnson's a great coach, but I think obviously there's a lot of wisdom to hire an offensive coach because that way he won't get plucked, right? He won't get snagged from you. You can protect your offensive system. I hear that. But what Mike is achieving, and it's just dangerously close to the Brandon Staley stuff, because Brandon Staley was doing it with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, and now Mike's doing it with Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith. And I tell you, those two are tops at their position. Those are elite game-changing talents. But what Mike's doing is not a common thing. This is an extremely well-coached unit. So I am blown away by Mike McDonald. I'm blown away by this defense. And offensively, yeah, like you brought up that 2019 Ravens season and that 14-2 loss the Titans in the divisional round, but this Lamar is so different than that Lamar. This Lamar is so balanced. But I'm having the experience
offense
this year where
is completely different too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm having the experience this year where I'm watching Lamar run. Go run. Stop trying to pass. Do you imagine saying that about Lamar 4 years ago, where you just didn't have that response? But he's just constantly I'm gonna hang on behind the line and find Zay Flowers on the scramble drill, and you're like, no, dude, just go. You're the man. But it is the correct choice. He's right and I'm wrong, and it makes the offense work. They're an astonishing team, and they're like you said, they're very well balanced. They can beat you a ton of different ways. I think that's huge for them as they make this run.
Number 1 in offensive DVOA. Only team, they're in the top 5 offense, defense, and special teams in DVOA. I mean, that is rare. Usually, I always joke in the offseason, build the great offense and then get by on defense and see what happens. To have this many strengths all over the place, and they all really manifested themselves in that game against the 49ers is very, very impressive. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. Listen, the AFC playoffs, oh my goodness, they're going to be a lot of fun, a lot of teams that could win there, but no one better situated than the Ravens. All right.